Welcome back everyone, it's Charlie. This is going to be my new Marvel Avengers video for the secret projects that Marvel has had going on in the background in the movies, several Easter eggs and deleted scenes that have shown that they've been setting up Wolverine in the X-Men this whole time. This video is mostly going to be about Wolverine, but it also kind of applies to a lot of the Fox characters, which also include the Fantastic Four. But we'll just be covering the Wolverine stuff. So if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. We're doing an Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite Wolverine Easter egg in the comments below. We'll just do this top 5 style. So last summer at Comic-Con, Marvel revealed that they had plans for a new X-Men movie within the MCU, new Fantastic Four, new Deadpool 3 movie, obviously, because right before Avengers Endgame was released in theaters, the Fox-Disney deal closed and they got the rights back to all those characters.
Mutants and X-Men are interchangeable. I just said mutants. But yes, whatever we do will be quite different than what's been done before.
Kevin Feige said that his new version of the characters would be very different from what we had seen before in all the Fox X-Men movies. That was mostly a lead that he would be recasting most of them, but for the most part, Hugh Jackman said he's retired, so when we're talking about Wolverine Easter eggs here, setting up a new version of Wolverine, it will be a new actor that plays the character. But because up to that point at Comic-Con last summer, most fans had assumed that because they hadn't been allowed to use those characters in MCU movies before that point, we'd just start seeing Easter eggs for all the new versions of X-Men characters and Wolverine during the Marvel Phase 4 movies. Then at some point, most people just assumed that they would show up during Marvel Phase 5. But here's the thing, Marvel has been setting up mutants and X-Men in the MCU since the very beginning of Marvel Phase 1, their very first movies that they ever released. So some of these scenes will apply to all the Fox X-Men characters, but we'll just be talking about Wolverine in this video. Number 4, Wolverine's codename in the comics is Weapon X, but Weapon X is actually the designation of the program that the US military used to create him. The Weapon X program is a subset of the Weapons Plus program. Wolverine's program is actually called Weapon 10 because Wolverine was the 10th person that they experimented on in the Weapons Plus program. Just for reference, Captain America was designation Weapon 1, so the Super Soldier program is the Weapons Plus program. They didn't start calling it the Weapons Plus program till Thunderbolt Ross took over the program and dusted it off, which I'll talk about in a second. But it's always been the Super Soldier program. It's just that in each different iteration of the Weapons Plus program, Weapon 1, Weapon 2, up to Weapon 10 with Wolverine, they just try something very different to enhance soldiers. So number 3, during The Incredible Hulk, there's a special scene where Thunderbolt Ross explains how he dusted off the Super Soldier program and has them doing new, different things with it. Good work. And Banner was doing gamma research for the military as a member of that larger Weapons Plus team.
Well, in WW2, they initiated a sub-program for biotech force enhancement.
Yeah, Super Soldier.
Yes. An oversimplification, but yes. Banner's work was very early phase. It wasn't even weapons application. He thought he was working on radiation resistance. I would never have told him what the project really was.
Even though Banner didn't realize it, he was trying to help create a new super soldier serum. It is the same gamma research that caused him to become the Hulk in the first place. I love to hear Thunderbolt Ross saying that he was pulling a fast one on the Hulk the whole time. I would have never told Banner what he was really working on. So when Thunderbolt Ross goes to dose Emil Blonsky with the most recent version of the Super Soldier Serum that he's been working on as part of this program, he opens up the tanks that look like they've been locked down for a long time, and it's clearly marked Weapons Plus. This isn't even the first Wolverine Easter egg in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it's just the next step on them preparing to eventually get the Wolverine character back so that they can introduce him through a Weapon X storyline. And this becomes a really cool Wolverine and Hulk connection for their backstories in the Marvel Universe for the movies. They did a version of the Weapon X program during Wolverine Origins, showing him getting the adamantium bonded to his skeleton. They kind of did a rebooted version of that during X-Men Apocalypse too, with Wolverine in the middle of escaping the facility like he did in the comics with that big headset on. That's meant to be right after he has the adamantium bonded to his skeleton. The whole Mr. Sinister post-credit scene isn't something from the comics. That's just something that they did for a movie that will never wind up happening because it was part of the old Fox plans for those characters. Marvel has different, better plans. The reason why it's important that Marvel was using the Incredible Hulk movie during Phase 1 to establish the full scope of the Weapons Plus program and set all that Weapon X stuff up is because Wolverine's very first appearance ever was in the Incredible Hulk comic book. He appeared out of the shadows at the very end of Incredible Hulk number 180. Then in the next issue, Incredible Hulk number 181, they had their first big Hulk vs. Wolverine fight, and they went on to have many, many rematches over the years. But making Banner a big part of the Weapons Plus program that early on was all about setting up an eventual Wolverine-Hulk connection in future Marvel movies once Marvel eventually got the rights to him in the MCU. The funny thing, though, is that because this was happening so many years ago, back in 2008, when they were writing this script, even before that, it was still Hugh Jackman that was playing Wolverine. So when Kevin Feige was picturing Hulk vs. Wolverine in an MCU Marvel movie, at this point in time, it would have still been Edward Norton's Hulk versus Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. But just because those actors have been recast already in the case of Edward Norton and eventually recasting a new Wolverine, doesn't mean Marvel is going to retcon all this Weapons Plus Weapon X Thunderbolt Ross stuff that they were setting up way back in Marvel Phase 1. Because number 2 jumped to present day in Marvel Phase 4 after Avengers Endgame. There was new Falcon and Winter Soldier footage screened recently just before everyone in Hollywood went on lockdown. And one of the scenes from an early episode featured Winter Soldier going to visit Baron Zemo in his special prison. During the scene, Baron Zemo tries and fails to reactivate Winter Soldier's Hydra programming that he learned from that red book. The reason it doesn't work is because Shuri already deprogrammed him before Avengers Infinity War, so the commands don't trigger him anymore. But after they have that funny, awkward moment, Winter Soldier walks up to Baron Zemo and tells him that Thunderbolt Ross has restarted the Super Soldier Weapons Plus program. So now you see Marvel gets the rights back to the Wolverine character, and just coincidentally, 12 years later, they finally start to pay off the Weapons Plus Incredible Hulk Easter eggs. There are a couple reasons why they're doing Weapons Plus story on Falcon and Winter Soldier. One, to show more backstory for the program through the other lesser-known participants like Isaiah Bradley. If you're not a big Captain America comic book reader, he's the person that they tested the Super Soldier Serum on before they gave it to Captain America. So he's sort of like the prototype for Captain America. And then the second reason is obviously in present day, as it's implied, Captain America John Walker, aka US Agent, seems like he gets a new version of the Super Soldier Serum. Look at him in this picture here from the set. He's got one of his arms hurt, he looks kind of small. Then in the next picture, when he's got the Captain America suit on, he looks jacked up. Captain America effectively retired when he came back a super old man, so the government just selects their own Captain America and then mints him by giving him that new Super Soldier Serum. I don't know what they're doing with this version of the shield. I don't know if they take it back from Falcon because we see Falcon playing with it during the trailer. But number one, final big piece of evidence that they've been planning this whole Mutants Weapon X backstory literally since the very beginning of the MCU is during the first Iron Man post-credit scene from the first Iron Man movie. There's an alternate version of this scene that they wrote for the movie and filmed where Nick Fury comes to tell Iron Man about the Avengers, but also talks about mutants in Spider-Man.
As if gamma accidents, radioactive bug bites, and assorted mutants weren't enough. I have to deal with a spoiled brat who doesn't play well with others and wants to keep all his toys to himself.
When Nick Fury references mutants, Kevin Feige and Marvel were using that as a catch-all term for all the Fox X-Men characters. The reason why they couldn't actually leave that in the movie is because only Fox was allowed to use the term mutants per the contract with Marvel for those characters. But you can hear how they tried to step around the issue of not being able to use Spider-Man yet by saying radioactive spiders, but that's them referencing the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, because when they filmed this, it was still 2007, they didn't release the movie till 2008 that next year, so Tobey Maguire was still Spider-Man, Hugh Jackman was still Wolverine. They were getting ready to release Wolverine Origins.
Hey, it's me! Don't scratch! Just cleaning up the timelines.
So clearly it seems like Kevin Feige's early attempts to share the characters to get Wolverine in the MCU were unsuccessful, and now he can just finally do it 12 years later, paying this all off. But it's just really cool to see all the times that Marvel has been trying to set up Weapon X and Wolverine inside the MCU without actually having access to the character. But let me know if you think that the new version of Wolverine should debut in a Weapon X movie and they should make it a big Hulk crossover like Thor Ragnarok. But everyone post your theories in the comments below. There'll be a bunch of Marvel stuff coming up. There'll be more Marvel Phase 4 trailers soon too. Congratulations Marty Bruce, you're the giveaway winner from my last big video. Please email me on the about page of my channel so I can get your details. Everyone click here for my big Marvel Phase 4 trailer video, and click here for that brand new Fantastic Four movie video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, I'll see you guys tonight.